Good evening. Welcome to Options Tender. It is Wednesday, February 7th, 2024. This is a very, very important video. I'm going to be straight up with you. I apologize that it's taken us this long to catch the turn. They're very difficult. We've been hedging, so losses haven't been too crazy. As a matter of fact, we've gotten some great wins from NVIDIA and such, but whole point of this video is to show you one other dynamic. I missed something that I was working on some time ago. It's an expanding ending diagonal. I showed it a couple times, and I apologize. We're going to go back and look at that. It shows that, yes, we could have our top right here, right now, but we also have actually a little bit more room. We could go further up. And so for that, I thought this was the end all be all right here. But then I looked back at some old work that I had done. And so, again, I work hard to try to bring you levels. And I missed this one. So for that, I apologize. So if you're new here, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Center logo, and subscribe. We're going to go through a few things on SPY on the daily time frame, the Elliott wave count, and down to the 65, so we can kind of get the somewhat targets that we can find, perhaps. Okay, so there's going to be just about two ways we're looking at this. Yes, this works. This can be the top. I connected the two bottoms here. The top here, and that may connect there, where that may be our top. But if we go back to the work that I did some time ago, several months ago, we had an expanding ending diagonal, not just an ending diagonal, and I missed this one. So we had our expanding ending diagonal. And I explain this. I'll tighten up these. These were just to show you. I'll tighten up where they should actually be. So what an expanding ending diagonal, since we think this is a major top. And so if this is an expanding ending diagonal, where this is a 3, this is a 4, it can only happen at the end of a move. So we have a 3-wave move up for 1. That would be the obvious 3-way move. It could actually, one could be here, and then 2 could be this expanding flat, as some people were saying, or this could simply be the one where this is a 3-wave move. Okay, so either way, we'll account for both of those situations. And then we're looking for a wave 2. Now this is expanding, and so momentum is gaining. And this is where I lost on wave 5. So this is gaining momentum to the upside and the downside. This is a move that on these type of time frames I've never been in before, but I know I am very aware of an expanding diagonal. It could be a leading diagonal in some cases too, and we'll keep track of that as time goes. But this being a 3-wave move up for 1, 3-wave move down for 2, and then you see the ABC 3-wave move up for 3, where 3 is longer than 1. Either scenario you look at, it's longer than 1. 4 is longer. You have your overlap of wave 1. And then that's longer than wave 2, whether it be a flat or just the wave 2 here. This is longer. And now our most expansive, largest wave, which is wave 5, is longer than wave 3. I already did the work. I didn't touch this. There's nothing that I did here. This is old work that the last time that we checked this out was in December. Now, this is work that I've done for months and months, but December is where we made a projection because we thought we had a top here. Okay, so that's why I have these lines here. We thought we were still going to get that expanded diagonal, but we were going to get a nice big retracement. That didn't make sense. I went back, started studying a little bit more of expanding diagonals, and the momentum is gaining in each turn. So this one clearly needed to be expansive and very, very fast and steep in order to be longer than wave 3. We weren't going to look for this is where I went wrong when I made this situation up. Okay, so we take these out, take all this stuff that I was wrong about out of here, and we had our A, B. This is a zigzag. Okay, most of these are zigzags. That's how we're looking at them. This is an A, B, C, a 5, 3, 5. 5, 3, 5. Now, this can be a 5, 3, 5 this way too, and a 5, 3, 5. Okay, so these are all, now you can have the flat. Like I said, this does fit 2 different ways, and we'll account for that later. We have our 5-wave move up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where we thought we'd be complete, but we did not. We thought this was a 5-wave completion, but we thought we were going to get a deeper retracement. We got our few weeks of a wave B. It was an expanded flat, as a matter of fact. We had the top here, a retracement, an expanded A, B, and then C to NB. And now we were looking for the rest of the 5 waves to complete this. Here's where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 possibly complete. Possibly complete here. Okay? We'll be looking for a reversal signal. So this doesn't change a whole lot, but it's where this last wave, because you have the extension in wave 3 so far, wave 5 can be anything. Okay? Wave 3 just can't be the shortest. It's the only rule for this 5-wave impulse move. And remember, momentum is gaining in all of this. Okay, so really should be, if this is the end of 1, then we should have from 1 to 3, a possible target all the way up here to 508. That would be the largest move. Now, price does not have to complete the expanding ending diagonal by touching the top of this trend line. Now, it's imperative to know that we could be topping off here. The only rule for the wave 5, we have a zigzag, we have a possible completion of a count. The only rule was that it had to be larger than 3 and in 3 waves. Okay, so we took the measurement, and again, I did this work before. We didn't think we were going to get near this move up here. So that's the wave 3, the length, and then the bottom of wave 4 gives us 100%. Price action had to get above this 487, this 488 area. Had to get above it, and it did. If you were looking at this as being some sort of triangle or something, you would think that price, that was the top. We thought that was the top. We got a move back under, and price held. That gave us one more move up. This is possible that this wave is done. It passed the criteria of the 100% larger than wave 3. Okay, now it can be a 127 extension. It can come up to this 508. All right, and there's a way that we can play this, and I think Tesla. We'll take a look at Tesla a little bit later on. That's a good way to play it because Tesla has to retrace. It had such a huge move to the downside, and it's finally starting to break out. And so we're going to use that as a hedge. We were actually hedged in it today. Got out with a small gain. and we should have stayed in it. I found this out after hours. I'm going to have to remanage my positions, but hedging will be the number one thing to do, and that's I think is with Tesla. So this wave could be over. Now, if I go back to the traditional technical analysis, it could be over at the top of this channel. That's a possibility. So if we think that wave one, this is the top right here. If we think that wave one is over at this point, then we take from point to point here. So that's a possibility of that trend line. That's a target. And if this is the top of wave one, let's see here. Let me get a little bit closer. Now, if this is the top of wave one, it could be just a little bit steeper. Not much, just a little bit. So those would be, if we get above this channel, I have the channel right at the tip of that peak there. If this does not hold back price, then we can go up to it's possible to go up to those targets up there. Okay, that could be as high as 510. It doesn't seem likely, but we'll keep this as the reference. We'll keep the channel as a reference. If we do not reject off of this channel, those are our next destinations. We're getting there, okay? And then we'll use the channel as a reference, meaning if we get above the channel, we are going to stay long if and until we break back underneath the channel, which would be a throw over and a fake break, okay? This is not required to get up to these distances. It is just a possibility. Now, I'll show you on the 65 how that would play out. I didn't adjust the ending diagonal on the 65 minute because I have these targets and things here. So bear with me for a moment, and we'll just kind of dig in this last wave. Okay, so we'll be looking at this, the A, B, and now we have the possibility. Okay, this is the expanded flat. The top was here, A, B, C. And we're looking at this being wave one, wave two. Wave three is longer than wave one. And so now we're looking at this wave four, and now wave five can be longer. It can continue to rise. So what we'll have to look at is, was this a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 complete right here, somewhere in this range of that channel top? Or is this a steeper wave one, wave two, and we're looking for this a smaller wave 1, 2. We continue as a wave 3, 4, and 5, meaning that we have an extension in the wave 5 of 5. Okay, and I'll draw that. If we get above the channel, I'll redraw this as a. This is still a 3 and 4, but now we'll have an expansion of wave 5 as a 1, 2, 3. 4 and 5 up to some of those targets up there, and that would extend our time frame at minimum probably another week of trading to get to those upside levels there, unless there's some catalyst that just makes price action go parabolic. But those price actions, again, that 508, 510, we'd be looking at some targets much further, and this would have to be a 1, 2, 3, and we continue with wave 3 pushing, and this should be the strongest of the waves. Pretty relentless. 4, take some time away, and 5 to get up to that 508, 510 area. Okay, that would be our next objective short if this continues to push. All right, so let me be very clear. This possibly is over. We have the connections. We have the divergences of this being done here, the channel top, that pivot here. But we do have the possibility, maybe this is a channel where you have the 2 and 4 connecting, and you have 1, 3, and maybe price action moves up to the top of these channels. The wedge, that large wedge that we're building, it extends, and we start to look at a price action heading to the top of that wedge. So we'd have to draw that in. We'd have to draw that in on the daily time frame to fit these scenarios. And sorry, bear with me that I'm doing this with you right now, but I want to show you on that 65-minute that might be kind of the targets there. So there's the top of that possible wave 1 and this possible wave 1. And so those would be the targets there. Let me double check that they crossed. So I have one that's just above. We're just above that channel. So the targets could be just a little higher, but I'll adjust those later on. Again, those if we get above this channel, our targets start to steepen, and we're looking at 507, depending, this is a rising pivot. So 8, 9, 10, somewhere around these zones here. And this channel working up this channel, that would be a wave 5 channel. 3, 4, and 5 could keep this channel's really steep, so it can continue to move up that channel, possibly intersect over here at 507 as well. I hate to, there's not much more than that could happen over there. Yes, it could throw over. That's always a possibility. It does not have to reach the top. So we really have to be careful at these levels here. Again, I thought this was a triangle, so it's hard to say. This could be a 1, 2, 3, wave 4 triangle. That's what I thought it was. And in wave 5 to be complete, we can be complete right now, right at these levels. Or again, if this is a wave 1, 2, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another wave 4 and a 5 higher. Okay, so let's just keep this as a reference. Price starts to grind, and we go grind higher. It's because of, and I'll show you, it could definitely be the stronger stocks that, like Nvidia and Meta, they've continued to just pull the market up. But here's the one I'm looking at, and we broke down from this pivot here, and I think we could back test that pivot, or maybe even go higher depending on how much momentum Tesla gets. We have this downtrend. We broke out, actually had a fake break and came back above it. So I'm looking for this to extend as a possible 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 setup, or perhaps there's some sort of AB in there where this is just a correction. But I do expect this to have quite the move. I think it should hold up the market because of its aggressive move, and perhaps with the help of maybe an Apple, a Nvidia, Meta, or Microsoft. Microsoft seemed like it wanted to go higher. It was breaking up from a triangle. So with this being the most damaged stock, I think this one has quite a bit to retrace, and I think it's very difficult to retrace if the market's heading down. So if you see Tesla really getting aggressive to the upside, then it's probably going to hold and grind the market up to those levels that we're talking about, around 507 to 510. Yes, yes, that can happen. It can grind. We'll probably look at a whole nother week of grinding to the upside, but that's a possibility. And the good thing is that we have something to reference, and that would be that channel top here. Okay, so this is our reference. We get above it. We start getting to the options expected move up here at 500 for the week. Then I think it's pretty clear that we can continue to the upside, and we'll follow on the lower time frame this channel, and then on the higher time frame we'll look for these possible targets. It looks like they're kind of fanning up, and again, this is drawn a little bit too far up, but you get the point. It should obey the lower time frame channel, if anything else, but just stay within this channel until it reaches the target that it wants and needs to go to. So if we start getting to this options expected move around 500, I think that this thing could still continue to the top of at least the channel on the lower time frame. Okay, so that's what I want to show you. The VIX is still in this box, and if the VIX continues to head down to the bottom of this range, then again, that's where we're going to have to keep an eye on this at the same time, where we see VIX getting to the bottom of this channel. If it does, then price action is probably grinding to the upside for SPY. And then if this starts to get some momentum to the upside, I think we know that we have our top in, and we'll be looking at what kind of targets we're at if and when we get down to this level here. If we start rising before that, that's I could say that we just made another higher low, because this is starting to build good structure here. I see a flat in here, but made a high, higher low, another high, higher low so far. So it could just be following this whole channel action, but I think this would be an aggressive spot here. So if we do get down to that point, we'll see what kind of highs we're at on SPY. But I just really wanted to get that. We could have our top in today, but just know that because I missed SPY in expanding diagonal, it fits perfectly. It fit a long time ago. We just had the wrong look at how the momentum would be in the fifth wave. Okay, expanding ending diagonal. I'll end with this back in the daily time frame. That was the ending diagonal. I had it drawn out right on the ending diagonal, but the targets we didn't have. It didn't make sense. So again, these don't. If you look that up, if you look up expanding diagonals, there's many websites that show them. You can reach these channel tops, or you can fall short of it. There's plenty that fall short. Okay, but we're already exceeding. We already checked off every single aspect. This is in a textbook. This is done. Every check mark is done. The check marks that we're really going to have to key in on are whether this move. We know that 1, 2, 3, and 4 are done. Now this is all about wave 5. And now I saw something, and this is going to go for the bullish side. This is a double inside day, and I saw somebody say that we've only had like a handful in the past decade or so, and that says something. So we broke out from that, and now that tells me that we still have more room to go. So watch out for that channel. We get above that channel top, and this has legs. So this could be simply a 1, 2, and we're grinding into 3. We'll get a consolidation of a day or two for 4, and then into 5 into targets. But right now we could have the top in I know I'm repeating myself, but there's only two things happening. Top's either in, and maybe we get a gap down for an island abandoned baby, where we gap down under the gap. If we start off weak tomorrow, but it's more likely we don't have much news coming out, many catalysts. We have the jobs, unemployment tomorrow morning before the bell. But again, on Thursdays, you see how often the market is bullish with the jobs and unemployment. It's just so possible, since we had a double inside day, that we have momentum, breakout momentum to the upside, and that our scenario of this expanding flat continuing on to new levels of highs, and we'll have to watch out. I think Tesla will be the play to a good hedge on this situation. If you want to remain short, I will, because I don't want to time this out. And so as our hedges work, we'll continue to exchange those dollars to work for longer term puts, and we'll adjust our portfolio as necessary so we can catch the turn on the top. Okay, I'll stop talking your ear off. I hope that helps. And again, I wish I would have stuck with what I saw here with the three wave moves, and it's just the momentum that ripped here. I should have recognized that. I thought this was going to be a much deeper retracement before heading higher. We didn't get that. We got it in time, not price. And that is typical for this being the most expansive part of this whole play. Either way, this is marking a top. This is marking a major top, and this kind of proves it. It's an expanding ending diagonal. And later on, we'll talk about if this is a leading diagonal. If we get that soft landing, as everybody's talking about, then we're going to probably hold a trend. We'll probably take this entire move and do a 62% retracement or 50% retracement and continue the move much, much higher, much, much longer if you're a bull. Okay, but I do think we get a deep retracement. When all this is said and done, we have to retrace this move 50, 60% perhaps. We'll talk about that later. Thanks for joining us here at Option Center. Don't forget to like the video. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon.